carp fishing. It's probably one of my most favourite disciplines in angling. The club I'm visiting today is where I've had some of my most epic captures and where the most special, cherished childhood memories were made. The lake today holds carp to around about 30 pounds, and I think it's time that I gave the bat a big swing and just hoped I could connect into a fish. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink. You're watching a Jake Davison production. Well, it had been a while since I'd been carp fishing, so I did have a little bit of preparation on the bank. So here, I'm just putting on the PVA bag and pretty much ballsing it up, as you can see. But we got there in the end, and it did mean we could prepare some PVA bags for the day. Today we'll be using a mixture of pellets, oils and wafters and a bit of method mix to try and entice the fish to bite. We'll be fishing to this far island, really close up to the bank. Well, what a mare I have had this morning. In all fairness, I have only had 2 hours sleep. The clocks have gone forward not too long ago, so unfortunately I'm functioning on the lack of sleep. So last night I had 2 hours sleep. Alarm was off at 5:30, and out of bed I jumped, and in the car I got. Today, as you would have heard, we are carp fishing. The reason for my mare this morning was the wind is making it very difficult to cast right tight to the island. Now here you need to be touching the islands. There's no point being a metre off it, you need to be touching it. And the issue is when it's windy and you're fishing very tight to an island, there's trees, there's overhanging trees. With mono it stretches. In the wind it's stretching over and it's sometimes catching the branch. So unfortunately I've got caught in the tree once. I probably had to do 5 or 6 casts because I'm just not hitting the clip and I'm not happy, and that's just pure. I'm slightly out of practice. I haven't been carp fishing for properly since last season. I'm just slowly getting back into it. But we're all set up now. We've got 2 rods touching the island, and we've got 2 baits out there, and they're little munch baits, citrus wafters. So hopefully, with a bit of luck, we will catch a few today. Some nice fish in here, as you would have heard from the intro. So we're going to kick back, start the engines, and catch some carp. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so we've been here probably for about an hour now. Probably, I would say, fishing properly for about an hour as well. I was just going to get the 3rd rod set up. Just to get the 3rd rod set up, you only have 2 rods at this complex, this club lake. But I'd like to have a 3rd one ready with a slight different tactic, just in case my normal tactics don't work. So what I've done is I've just rigged up a very simple method feeder. So we've got about a foot of tubing which runs into the method feeder at the top there, as you can see. Little method feeder, and then what we've done is I've done a hair rig, sort of blowback style hair rig there, with a elastic band around the pellet. We're feeding them pellets, and I keep getting some liners. So yeah, we're gonna wind one of the rods in, which wasn't so well cast. We're gonna clip this back up, and we'll get it out there. took me about 45 minutes today to wrap up the rods. Now, from where I am, it's 9 1/4 to 9 1/2 wraps. If you do 9 1/2 wraps and get a perfect cast and there's no wind, you hit the bank perfectly. It's beautiful. You do 9 1/2 and there's a wind blow or the line's slightly too high in the air, you get caught in the tree. So 9 1/4, I'm 95% happy with the cast, and pretty much you're never going to have any problems. But I'm going to try this method feeder just to get a bit of bait out there. And what I've done is I've just liquidised a load of bread yesterday. Well, I say I did. Nigel did it, my dad. And I'm just going to use up a little bit of this method mix, as you can see in there. Nice bit of bread and a bit of method mix. We'll get that cast out with a pellet. See what happens. Right, so we've just got into a fish. No run whatsoever there. I was picking up the rod to change that method. The line is streaking all the way over to the right. Right, so it's only a very small fish, probably only about 3.5–4 pounds to be honest, but they're always nice in small ones. Nice little fish there, black little mirror, nice one, first carp for me of 2021 as well, so that's fantastic, but lovely little fish really, quite pleased with that. Let's get her back and we'll try and catch another one. So you probably just aware we just caught that little sort of 3.5–4 pound mirror carp there. Not a big fish, but first carp of 2021, so I was quite happy about that. I actually caught that on the method I was using previously with those little wafters, very long piece of rig tubing and an inline weight. I've still gone over to the method feeder on one rod, and you might think, well, you caught a fish on one of the rods, so why are you changing? I do think having a method feeder out there with that bread mix is just going to turn them on a little bit. It's very, very light and fluffy bread, you know. They don't get full on it. You can, especially when it's liquidized, you know, as soon as it goes in the water, it disperses. It just creates a cloud. It creates some vision. I've got a line bite on there, and I do think a pellet might just make the difference between having maybe 5 or 6 carp in the day with the wafter, and possibly, you know, 10–11 carp with a pellet. I'm not saying we're going to get 10 or 11, but in the summer I reckon that's what the difference would be. So we're going to have pellet on one. We'll give that a couple of hours on the pellet and the method feeder on one rod, and we'll keep the other rod on the wafter. But it's lovely to be out, as always, and it's nice to have caught a carp. So we'll just try and wait for these alarms to go off now. Well, it was certainly quieter than I had hoped. The bites were not really very forthcoming, so it was a little bit tricky. Obviously trying a few different tactics and all. Even my dad was being a bit quiet and decided to read a book. 58 and he's still doing GCSE. So just a very quick tip, I'm sure all anglers watching this will know, but as you do know, I like to prepare my baits in little bits. As a 5 P's, piss poor preparation. No, hang on a minute. I'm trying to get this right now. Piss poor presentation. Can't remember. Basically, the saying is that if you don't prepare, I know what it is. Piss poor preparation prevents piss poor performance. Something like, I don't know. I can't remember it. I will remember it, and I'll probably just write it down below. But yeah, you know what I mean. Preparation is key. So I've created 4 little PVA bags there, just with pellets in, so that when I wind in, I can quickly attach it up and send it straight back out there. Definitely something you should be thinking about is preparing everything, having everything in its place, and make sure everything's going back to where it should go. So if you've cut a rig off, put it straight back in your rig pouch. Don't just put it on the side and think, oh, I'll do it later, because you never will. And then it just gets more and more and more, and all your stuff's everywhere. Perfect preparation prevents piss poor performance. The 6 P's. I knew it. So I've just had a little fiddle with some casting, and it's now 9 3/4 wraps, so it's a quarter more of a wrap to where those irises are behind me. And I'm just going to try sort of just off of those iris reeds, just to see if there's anything hanging around in there with the pellet and the method feeder. So it's all clipped up. We're going to pop some method feed on, hammer out a pellet, and see what we can pick up. As I said here, casting right to the bank really close up is really crucial here, and that's what we achieve through using distance sticks. Right, so it's about 3 o'clock now, so we've got until about 8 o'clock fishing, I would say, until we've got to leave, as it's a dawn till dusk fishery. 3 swims down, a chap is leaving. He's caught, I think, about 3 fish, and it would probably be one of my top swims if I were to pick any on the lake. So when he goes, I'm going to hop into bed rather quickly with him and cast into a spot I know where I might catch a carp. So I'm going to go over there for a couple of hours and rest the swim I'm currently in. I've been casting out a lot and a bit of noise disturbance. It might have moved the fish away. So I'm going to rest this swim for a few hours, and then probably about 5 o'clock I will come back here and we'll finish the session in this swim. Unless that swim's really good, we'll stay in it. So let's take you over there, and we'll see what we've got. We'll obviously need to mark it up with the distance sticks, and just to make sure we're getting right by the island, but it's worth the move, I think. Now, some would call me impatient, but I waited 20 minutes and I just didn't feel right. So yes, I very quickly packed up and wanted to head round to the other side. A certain angler was catching a lot of fish, so I thought maybe the wind this side just was a little bit too much. Here's the spot we're going to fish, right up close to that stump there, and let's hope the carp are more coming. Well, have we moved again? Yes, we have. 3rd time lucky. I was only in that swim for probably about 25 minutes before, but it just didn't feel right. So I've decided to come over here. The wind is dead here because it's got protection from the trees behind us and the bank over there, and quite a lot of fish have been coming up as well. I've seen them. It's obviously, this is where the fish are holding up, so this is where we are going to stay now until dusk arrives. So I shall wave to Nigel, my father, over the other side. Tough titties that he stayed over there and didn't want to come with me. I've definitely going to put in the effort and give it a go, so I'm very confident that we're going to bag some more fish. Obviously we've wrapped up the rods to the different length. It's half a dozen and a quarter wraps to where we need to be, so it's quite a shorter cast. It's only a shorter cast by maybe 3 wraps because we were doing 9.5 earlier, so yeah, 3 and a bit wraps shorter, but it's so much easier to cast in this wind to get it really accurate, so that's really good. Anyway, I'm going to listen to these alarms and pray we get another one.
Tinker, tinker, a tench. Anyway, that's my first fish of the day. Can you believe it?
Right, I'm not going to claim this as my own because my dad came over, Nigel, and he cast this out. But yeah, nice little tench there. Look, probably about £3, probably as big as my carp earlier. Yeah, not bad.
Well, after that tench, the 2 anglers to the right hand side of me, which were catching some fish, especially the lady, were moved and left. So I decided to pop over. Here I'm using these twigs to prop my rods up. I cast to the far island just to give the last hour and a half a go in a spot which had been producing fish. Well, it didn't take too long, and I thought I might have heard Nigel's voice in the background, so I went over to see what the commotion was about. Well, it did take a while. It was on a size 18 hook, £3 line, and just slowly but surely, we slowly got it into the nets. I asked Nigel to walk back just to ease the pressure on the fish, and just so I could manage to quickly get it into the nets and secured. Yes, he had finally got one. It was 1-1 in the carp match today. Not that we were counting, but I was glad that he managed to get a little fish in the end. Not a bad one either. Mouth wasn't great, but nice little colours for this time of year. Take a look. Well, unfortunately, all fishing has got to come to an end. Didn't manage to get any more, but it was worth the moves, I feel, at least. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. It's very much appreciated. Enjoy your week, and I do hope to bring you more videos soon.